wonderful when you hear harmonies like that? It's just so, oh gosh, I got goosebumps. Yeah, yeah, it's just gorgeous, yeah. Did you record that by any? What? Can you get the second one? Oh, they're going to do 3 actually, so can you do the, yeah. Okay, now I got to switch over. So yes, Myrtle Fillmore and her healing letters. And one of the things I love about her is that she does not mince words. And she just says what she means, and she means what she says. And she is speaking from her own experience. And some of you know that, Myrtle was actually the beginnings of Unity. She's one of the co-founders with her husband, Charles. And it was really Myrtle who got this started, and Charles came in on the back end. And he wanted to figure that out. But it was Myrtle who was really fired up because she had some health problems, and she was very coddled, and she was a weak child, and she was kept indoors a lot, and really just was sick most of her life. And it took her being at a talk and hearing somebody say that as a child of God, you do not inherit sickness, and something went off in her head. And she caught that thought and did not let it go. Did not let it go. And it was the beginnings of that was the spark that created Unity. And so Unity in the beginning was about healing. And it was about transformation of the self on a very, very deep level. And she made that happen. I mean, Charles came in later on, but he was at it mentally. If you read his books, then you realize how he was going at it. Very scientifically at the time, but Myrtle was the heart of it, and just had a deep, deep, deep conviction after much personal work and investigation and working with spirit and changing her own physical expression of life. So she had tuberculosis, and that was a death sentence for most at that time. And she changed that. She changed her experience of life because of that thought. That thought. And that's one of our five principles, knowing that our thoughts can change our experience of life. Our thoughts can change our experience of life. And we say that a lot. But do we believe it, and do we live it? But that's the rub with everything that we talk about. Do we live it? Do we believe it? And Myrtle lived it exponentially. She didn't just believe it. She put it to the test. And she said, okay, I heard that. That resonates with me. Now it's my work to do. I can join with the God that I know, my God, the God of my understanding. And if that's the case, that as a child of God I don't inherit sickness, then it's my work to join with God power to heal. And she went there for years. And I've mentioned before, because this is one of my favorite phrases of hers, that we use intense activity of the mind to raise our consciousness to a healing consciousness. Intense activity of the mind. And that sounds like, well, I didn't really know what that meant until I needed to start investigating it and using it. And a lot of times we don't know what spiritual stuff means. We read it and we say, oh, that sounds nice, and that resonates with my heart, and everything's good, and I can repeat that in my affirmations. But man, when the rubber meets the road, or has to meet the road, and you got something going on in your life, then all of a sudden that thing that you've been affirming becomes real. And then you start to wonder, Do I really believe what I said? Do I really believe what is resonating with my heart? And if so, now what do I do? Now what I do? So intense activity of the mind for me is now looking like I need to spend time in addition to my regular prayer and meditation time, not in, at least for me, not in exchange for my time of solitude and quiet, but in addition to it, because I need to prepare for the time of silence. Because if you've really got something going on in your life, then your time of silence can be hell. Your time of silence can be fraught with fear and doubt and misgivings and all kinds of toxic thoughts about what's happening, what's going to happen, what somebody said was going to happen, what your doctor said, what somebody else said, what your therapist said, about what can and cannot happen in your life. And all of that stuff gets to swirl around as soon as we get quiet. That's why a lot of us don't get quiet. Because we don't want to hear it. And we know it's in there, and we know it's going to pop up as soon as we get quiet. Mine does, so I have to prepare for the quiet. And I've said, often I prepare for the quiet with music. Because music switches my mindset automatically with some songs. Automatically, sometimes by the second note, I am somewhere else in my psyche. And I know as I'm getting to that song and get ready to hit play, I know it's coming. And I can feel my spirit shifting. I can feel my spirit shifting. And I use that music to fuel me, to raise my vibration. Because if it's down here and I got all those messages about what I can't have, what I don't have, what you're not going to feel, that you're going to be like this forever and a day, and it's probably going to take you out of here, or you're always going to have this, you can't heal it because it's too deep, it's whatever, or you got to take all this medication, your life is going to be marginalized, all that stuff that we hear, we have to do something with. And you can swim in it if you want. That's our choice. You can have that experience, but it was wearing me out. And it was making me run for the hills. And I didn't want to meditate because I didn't want to sit in that stuff. And so I had to use the music to lift my vibration. And the music was loud because I was trying to drown out what was going on in here. And man, the voices in my head were shouting. So I had the volume up. And I've got my little Bluetooth speaker, and the sound is bumping off the walls. Because I need to feel it. I need to feel it to shift me. I need to feel it to shift me. And then I do that for a while till I feel my vibration rising. And I'm vibrating up here. Instead of down here, poor old me. Poor old me. You know, the pity party. We all have pity parties, don't we? Even if they're short. And mine are shorter than they used to be. I could pity party for weeks on my own and play the victim and talk to people about how I got it so bad and how life is hard and I'm struggling through it. My gosh, I'm just struggling. And I want people to be in my misery with me. Used to. And now I don't anymore. But it's hard not to do the drama thing. Because sometimes the drama thing feels good, you know. And you got people running around you and, you know, patting you on the back. Oh, you poor thing. It'll be okay, but it probably won't. And it's that we have to counteract. So use what you got. I don't know what yours is. Yours may not be music. It may be gardening. It might be scripture. It might be something else you've read. It might be a positive book. It might be Um, art. Yes. Art. You might need to clean. Or some other kind of physical thing in order to run the stuff through you, something, because sometimes I've told you, working out works for me. And I can let out my stuff. Dance, yes, anything to get something moving, get that stuff that's caught, that's keeping your vibration down, get it, loose it up and get it out of you, release it. Release, renunciation is one of our 12 powers. Use that power to push that stuff out of you and get it out. If you have to cry it out, cry it out. You got to scream it out, scream it out. I told you, it's therapeutic. You get in your car, roll up the windows, and scream till you can scream no more and get it out of you so that you can let in the goodness that is there. Let in the good thoughts. Let in the peace. Let in the release, being able to take a deep breath and not feel constricted by the negativity that you had swirling around. And then go into the silence. Then go into the silence when you're peaceful and calm and you're wrung out from all of that release. Then you go in the silence. And that's when you start affirming and feeling and embracing the presence of God. That's what Myrtle's talking about. That takes time. And I'm figuring out what it is I need to do. What works for me? What kind of ritual do I need in the morning to start my day? Because a lot of times, if I don't start my day in high vibration, then the day starts, stuff starts to happen, and I'm done going down here. And then I hit bottom. And then something might lift me up, and I'm up here, and then and something can smack you down to the ground again. And so we need to keep it up here, but I need to start up here. Because if something knocks you a little bit down, it's easier to float back up. But if you're down here wallowing in your stuff, in the baggage, in the negativity, in the fear, and the doubt, it's harder to lift yourself back up. And some days it takes a lot of energy for me to get to the place where I feel good. I got to talk myself into saying, all right, I'm going to do the dance. I'm going to do the art. I'm going to read the scripture. I'm going to get out of bed rather than just laying there and feeling pitiful. I had to talk myself out of the pity party. Sometimes you just need to lay there in the pity party and do it and get it over with. You know, if you got to do it, do it. Do what works for you, and then move forward. Maybe give yourself 5-10 minutes of pity and say, okay, I'm done. I'm done with that. Time to move. Time to raise the vibration. And then you get in there in the silence, be in the silence, feel the presence of God. And when you are feeling goodness all through you, in you, around you, you feel yourself coming up here. You're feeling that oneness. You know, when you're in deep meditation and you've got that feeling of oneness, then you start affirming what it is you want in life. Affirm what you want and give thanks for it. And maybe then you do a dance of thanks. And maybe then the art looks different. Maybe then you're using different colors to paint with. Maybe then you're not just pulling weeds out of the yard, you want to plant something. Maybe then you start redecorating the house, moving stuff around. Because now you're coming up as a new you. You come out of this meditation time and you are in a different place. And so your physical world may need to look different to be in alignment with what you're trying to bring into the world, this high vibration that you want to keep. There may be some things you need to let go of. There may be some people you don't need to talk to. Might be some friends you don't need to call. Might be some family members you don't need to call and share your stuff with. Share your fears, your doubts when they come up. Share them with somebody who can be in high vibration with you, even if you're starting to lose some of that high vibration. Be with somebody who can hold the spiritual space for you. Not wallow in the mud with you. You don't want that. And so that might be somebody you don't usually go to. And you enlist their help. Let them become part of your team. Your life team, your health team, your vitality team, your healing team, whatever it is you want to call them. Enlist their help and say, hey, I may be calling you every once in a while when I need you to help me stay up here. That's what friends are for. That's what spiritual mentors are for. That's what prayer partners are for. People who can help you stay up here. Who can be with you when you're down here, but they're up here. And by the end of your time together, you're up here with them. And you're both vibrating. And you're both holding a vision for you at your highest and best. And I don't know how long that's going to take if that's a morning ritual. It may take an hour. But the question is, how badly do you want what you want? How badly do you want it? Are you willing to lose a little sleep or to go to bed earlier so you can get up in the morning and have a longer routine, spiritual practice so that you could heal? That's a question most of us have to ask. Am I willing to take the time to invest in myself and in my spiritual self to do and to have what I want? What I say I want? Because sometimes it's easier on some level to just wallow and to do the drama thing. Or to just, sometimes we choose just not to do it. And that's okay if that's what you choose. But know that's your choice. It's okay. Doesn't change that you are love and divinity at your core. You are still loved. You're still treasured. You are still needed here as a part of the oneness that is God. You're still needed here at this time in history to share your gifts. And you get to share them the way you want to. So don't kick yourself if you need that. That's okay. But know it's your choice. And then go do your work through the day. And maybe during the day, you need to reaffirm. Maybe you need a little bit more time. Maybe you need 10 or 15 minutes to work on your vibration because it's coming down here. The world's starting to wear you out. Something's reminding you of what's going on in your body and you're not happy, or something's going on with your life. You're reminded about the relationship that may be going awry, or a loss that you've had, and you're starting to feel that again, and you're going back down. You might need to get in the quiet again. You might need to go through your routine again. Maybe you need to spend 10 or 15 minutes midday to come back up here. It's not an easy thing to be in high vibration all the time. It's not. It's possible, but most of us have to work to be up here. Because we do this all day and all week. And some days we may be down here all day or half the day. And it always takes more work to come back up here. Always. If you're here, it only takes a little bit of work. You come down, half a step, takes a tiny bit to go back up. And you drop in the basement, you got to come back all the way up those stairs. You got to do all that work again. So sometimes this intense activity of mind needs to happen throughout the day. What are you willing to spend to invest in you, in your health, in your well-being? I say do it as many times as you need. You guys stop and do it 6 times out of the day, stop and do it 6 times in the day. Do what you need to do. And at the end of the day, do it again so that you can go to sleep and rest and not have those fears and doubts giving you nightmares and waking you up. Then you wake up in the middle of the night. It's always hard when you wake up in the middle of the night and it's quiet and it's dark and you're by yourself and those thoughts start to come back in. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. But you got to be ready with your practice. What are my affirmations? What do I do in this moment? Do I take some deep breaths? Do I maybe get out of bed and walk around and come back? Do I need to put my headphones on if you're not alone and listen to a song? Do I need to sing the lyrics in my head to get me back to sleep? So this intense mind activity that Myrtle talks about might need to happen throughout your day. Man, I wish it were a one-off. I wish it would take me 5 minutes. And maybe it will. Maybe as I practice, and I do believe as you practice and as you spend time and you invest your time, invest in your health, in your well-being, in your spiritual well-being. Invest and spend time with God, as the divinity that you are, and feeling that and affirming that. I do believe at some point your learning curve is much, much shorter. And maybe then all you have to do is take a deep breath and you come here. Wouldn't that be nice? If something smacked you in the face, some kind of news, some kind of occurrence in your day, and you started to feel yourself go down, you feel that tension, you go, this isn't good. This isn't good. We all know that feeling, right? That sinking feeling. Something breaks your heart, you get a reminder of something, or you're in physical pain, or something didn't go exactly as you wanted. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just take a breath and all that went away and you were back here? That takes time and practice. It's like watching an elite athlete, and everything that we see looks easy. They have such power and ease on the tennis court or on the racquetball court or running on track or playing football or soccer or whatever it is they do, or a dancer, an ice skater. You realize how powerful ice skaters are? And yet they glide around on ice, on a blade. A skinny blade, yes. And often one of them is lifting somebody else up in the air with one arm, and she's just balancing up there all beautiful and graceful. Do you realize how much power and grace that takes? How much practice that takes? How much mental conviction that takes to let somebody lift you up in the air as he's gliding across the ice on a very skinny blade? Or the beauty of the song we just heard. That doesn't just happen in an instant. They practiced, they worked, they listened to each other, they sang together, they were probably practicing at home. They practiced before they came before us again. Practice, 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 practice. And then they get up here and we're all blown away and we think, oh, how gorgeous that is. And they worked. Following a director who's got experience with this and knows how to motivate them and get them to blend their voices. And then we get to see it and go, oh, yeah. I want to sing like that. And yet, would we be willing to put in the practice and the time? And there's so much more to singing. It's not just about the singing. It's about how do we care for the instrument? How do we care for the instrument? Are we hydrated? Are we staying physically well? I heard Pavarotti say that once. It's not just about the voice, that he takes care of himself every single day so that whenever he has to get up and sing, his voice is right. Are we willing to do that for our spirits, for our health, for our vitality? Whether it's mental vitality, physical vitality, emotional vitality, spiritual vitality. The mental activity is the same, whether you think you've got no money and you're going to be busted in 6 months or a year. Same thing. You're just affirming something different. Same work. What if you're getting towards the end of the month and that check's not coming yet? You think, oh, I got to make this last for another 10 days. How am I going to do that? And then you get tired of it. Maybe you get a bill that you forgot about or something like that, or you have an extra expense that you forgot about, and your vibration starts to go down, and just all you think about is being poor, and you're not going to have it, and it's never going to work, and when am I going to get it easy? When do I get a break? Same mental activity, same spiritual work. You're just affirming that God is your source and not your check. And as a child of God, you do not experience poverty. That you live in an abundant, opulent universe. Same work. You're just giving thanks for a different thing at the end of your meditation. Intense mind activity. It's an all-day thing. I find myself now using my newest affirmations throughout the day, and every time I get a spare second and nothing quite's going on, maybe I'm watching a movie and there's a commercial comes on, I'm saying it during the commercial. I'm saying walking down the hall in the house. I might say it as I'm getting in the car. I say it again sitting at the red light. Because I want to embody that affirmation. I have to have it here. I have to have it here, head to toe. I got to be a walking affirmation. It can't just be the words coming out of my mouth. You got to embody it. You got to feel it. You got to live it. You got to be it. And then it comes into physical manifestation. But you got to do the work first. But the work is for us. You get to invest in you, in your health and vitality, in your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. That's what Myrtle was talking about. I wanted to end with this from her book. Be still, be still, be still. God in the midst of you is substance. God in the midst of you is love. God in the midst of you is wisdom. Let not your thoughts be given to lack. Let your wisdom fill them with the substance and faith of God. Let not your heart be a center of resentment and fear and doubt. Be still and know that at this moment it is the altar of God of love. Love so sure and unfailing. Love so irresistible and magnetic that it draws your supply to you from the great storehouse of the universe. Trust God. Use God's wisdom, prove and express God's love. As you come out of the silence, count your blessings and give thanks for them. Realize that only good exists in you and in your world, that the power you contacted in the silence may have opportunity to multiply and increase your blessings. Give thanks that you have already received the good for which you have looked to God in the silence, feeling the assurance. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. Let's take this in a meditation. Just relax and breathe. What's something you need to heal? Is it a physical malady? Do you have a diagnosis you're grappling with? Is it something emotional? Mental? Are you in spiritual crisis? What is this thing that needs to be healed? What might be waking you up in the middle of the night? That makes your fear run rampant, wakes you in a cold sweat. That makes the tears spill over when you get a quiet moment. What is that thing? In this moment now, you can declare that thing impermanent in your life. And in whatever way you think about God, give it away to God. Surrender that thing to the presence and power of God. The same force that created the heavens and the earth, that created all things, that gives and sustains all things. Be willing to give it away, fully, finally. Give away the energy you have around it. Give away whatever drama is attached to it. Give away the fears you have about it. Give away any doubt you have about the power of God in this instance. For sometimes we affirm the power of God with everything but one thing, because we think this thing is too big. It's new. It's something you've never grappled with. So visualize in whatever way is meaningful to you that very thing vaporizing in the air and becoming no thing, nothing. For up against the power of God, the infinite power of God in the Christ presence. Anything out of alignment with perfect health, wealth, love, joy, peace, tranquility. Anything out of alignment with harmony and unity is an illusion. And now ask yourself, what am I willing to give, to invest in? To have perfect health in this area of my life. What am I willing to change? What am I willing to get rid of, to say no to, so that I can make room for health and vitality, for goodness and love, for peace. For a good night's rest every night. For the energy to do all that you want to do. To shine your light as brilliantly as you can. What are you willing to invest? Know in this moment that all you have to do is crack the door open to spirit, to God, to goodness. And blessings can overflow through a crack in the door. Start to picture what it is you truly want your experience of life to be. With this one thing, reframe it. See an end result. See the dream. See the dream. And let yourself be with that. And start to give thanks for it. Thank you for a vital, strong body. Thank you for peace of mind. Thank you for loving relationships. Thank you for filling work that prospers me. Thank you for the opportunity to give of myself. Place to share my gifts, to heal and bless others. Thank you for love overflowing. Thank you for peace on earth. Thank you for life and breath. Thank you for choice. Thank you for free will. Thank you for the ability to be what I want to be. Do what I want to do. Thank you for the opportunity to shine the light of love of God throughout the world, to be a blessing at this time of history. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's take a deep breath in together, breathing, inhaling, settling into that peaceful feeling, exhaling, feeling ourselves surrender just a little bit more, releasing more, opening up more, stretching our arms out wide to goodness. Knowing that our arms are not big enough to hold all the goodness that can flood into our lives if we will but claim it and give thanks for it. Breathe and relax. knowing that all is well, all is good, all is God. All is God. So we know that our words become law. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.